You need to get prepared and get familiar with your sink. Look for the hot and the cold water lines. Look for the valves to shut the water off to the faucet and the dishwasher. Look for where the dishwasher drain connects. Is it the garbage disposal or is it the drain lines? What kind of valves do you have? Are they push-pull or rotating valves? Learn how to shut the water off to the faucets and the dishwasher. Good to do a drawing of the pipes under your sink so you're prepared if there's an emergency. Sometimes putting a plastic tub under the sink can help to catch potential leaks and minimize damage. Make sure all the water lines and valves are visible and they're not hidden by stored items. Get familiar, be prepared. We've added a table of contents so that you can quickly go back and review and brush up on certain areas of the video. We do recommend that you watch the video a couple of times just to get real familiar with things that can happen with your kitchen sink and how to forestall any issues. So enjoy and thanks for watching. Hey, this is John. Today I want to talk to you about your kitchen sink and dishwasher and what's going on with all the different parts and pieces of the water supply and drain lines associated with that. Here, you got your faucet and you got the dishwasher over here. They're all connected together, but the real guts of what is happening is down inside the cabinet under the sink. Once we get under the sink, there's a couple of big things here that I want to point out to you. This is your garbage disposal, and it is connected to the drain line. And the drain line is also connected to the bottom of this sink bowl here. So water drains out of the disposal, goes through here and down through the trap and into the drain line. Now the other things we see is this line here, which is hooked into the garbage disposal. That's the drain line from the dishwasher. Okay, so that's the drain lines you're looking at. Now as far as the water lines go, we have this red line coming up out of the bottom of the cabinet, and then it's got a T and two valves. Now, this valve here goes up to the faucet. It's sort of got a little silver lead to it, and that's going up to the faucet. This valve here is the hot water. The pipe's red because it's hot water. And this line goes up and goes to the dishwasher up there in the corner. Okay, and then the white pipe here is the cold water line, and it's got a valve on the top of it here too. Sometimes the cold water lines will be made out of blue pipes, but white is fine too. Just this is what this plumber used. Now these valves are very simple to turn off and on. They only turn a quarter turn, and as you can see it now, this valve is in line with the pipe. So that means the valve is open and the water is flowing. When you turn it off, you turn it a quarter turn and the valve is perpendicular to the pipe. And that means the valve is off. There is no water flowing to the faucet. Now, if you have sinks full of water, that water will still flow through the drain lines. So if you got a leak in the drain line, you need to get a tub or a pan or a bucket or something under here to catch that drip. So there we turn the water off to the faucet. Right here, we'll turn the water off to the dishwasher. Okay, and then the cold water is the same way. So let's take a closer look at the piping under the sink. You can follow the hot water line as it comes into the cabinet. It splits off into two. There's one line that goes to the dishwasher and one part that goes up to the faucet. Each one has a valve that you can shut the water off, but what you need to do is follow the lines as they head to the dishwasher and up to the faucet. They're going to snake in and out of other pipes under there, so you just need to get familiar with it. And for the cold water line, you need to do the same thing. It's a little bit simpler just because it just goes to the faucet. And it's got a valve on there where you can shut the water off, and then the line snakes in and out of the piping as it goes up towards the faucet. So you just need to get familiar with it. But as we take a closer look on the hot water, there's one part that goes up to the faucet with a valve. and there's one part that goes over to the dishwasher with a valve, and that's how you know where to shut it off. The cold water line runs up to the faucet, and there's a valve there. So just get familiar with what's under your sink so you can be prepared. Sometimes the colors of the pipes might be different. In this one, the hot water line is red and the cold water is white, and the leads up from the valves may be silver or white or purple. But once you get familiar with it, then you'll know how it's set up underneath your sink. So just be prepared, get familiar with it, play with the valves. Well, let's take a closer look at the valves. Both of these valves look the same. They're both pointed in the same way. One valve has the water turned off, and one valve has the water turned on. What? But both valves are pointed the same way. Well, let's take another look at it. This valve is perpendicular and this valve is parallel. When it's perpendicular, the valve has turned the water off, and when it's parallel, the valve has turned the water on. Perpendicular off, parallel on. Let's try and figure this out. Here's the water line. Got to find the water line, and which way is the valve pointing? The valve's perpendicular, the water is turned off. Is the water on or off? Well, look at the valve. Is it perpendicular or parallel? In this case, the water is turned off because the valve is perpendicular to the water line. And turning it perpendicular to the water line will turn the water off. Let's look at parallel. When the valve is parallel to the water line, the valve has turned the water on. Parallel means the water's on. Turning the valve parallel to the water line turns the water on. Is the water turned on or off? Well, look at the valve. Water is turned on because the valve is parallel to the water line. Is the water off or on? Is the valve parallel or perpendicular? One is off, one is on. Now in this picture, is the water off or on? Are the valves parallel or perpendicular? Take a look at them. Is this one parallel or is it perpendicular? Think about it where the water lines are. Are they parallel or are they perpendicular? Well, when they're perpendicular, the water is turned off. So even though the valves point differently, water is off at both of these valves because they're perpendicular to the water line. Now the valves under your sink may look a little different. You may have what we call push-pull valves. You have the same hot water lines and cold water lines and everything under the sink like you did before, but with a push-pull valve, you pull the valve to turn the water off, and when you pull it, it opens up a gap under the knob. So here the water's off. Now to turn the water on, you have to push it so it's closed, so there's no gap. And the water's on. So what you're looking for whether the gap's there or not there. If you want to shut the water off, you pull it open and open the gap. If you want to turn the water on, you close it and eliminate the gap. So here it's pulled and here one's pushed. So that's the difference. And you push the valve to close it. Now we have a couple of videos that show you how to operate these. These valves here are the type that you pull them to shut it off. You pull this round disc, and it only comes out about 1/4 of an inch, and that shuts the water off. So all you do, you just hold the bottom with one hand, and the top hand you pull it up, and it clicks, and that way you know that it's off. And it just it's real simple. You do the same thing with the hot water valve. This particular kind of valve, you have to pull it. You've got this round disc out here, And to shut it off, you need to pull it out. So with one hand, I'm going to hold the pipe, and with the other hand, I'm going to pull it out. As you can see right now, it's tight right here. This piece and this piece, they're tight together. Now when I close the valve, I pull it out, you can hear it click. Now there's about 1/4 inch of space there. And that shuts all the water off. And then that'll let you do whatever you need to do to fix the toilet. And when you want to turn it back on, you just push it. Push it so it's closed again, and you see the gap is gone, the water's back on. Under your sink, there are a number of places where leaks can occur. You've got a lot of drain lines that attach to different things. It attaches to the sink bowl and the garbage disposal. The dishwasher drain line attaches. There are places where it leaks, where the dishwasher drain line attaches. That's a good point for leaking. The drain lines themselves, where they attach to the garbage disposal, and at the little joiners along the drain line pipe. Sometimes they can become loose. Also, cracks can develop in the body of the disposal, which can cause leaking to occur. So all these places need to be checked on a regular basis, and just check your cabinet to see if there's any evidence of moisture in the bottom, and then you can explore where the leaks are coming from. The arrangement in your kitchen may be a little bit different than what we're showing. You may have one sink rather than two. The dishwasher may be located on the right side of the sink. The garbage disposal may be located on the left-hand sink. In the hot and the cold water lines may be different colors. You may have different kind of valves, and the drain lines might be run a little bit differently. But the issue is the drainage and the water flow is going to be very similar to what we're showing.